This is Mustafa Abrahams Mohammed, currently pursuing Masters of Science in Global Technology and Development. It's so good to be with you in this project presentation. My project analyzes how Tanzanian women are represented in the Women's Empowerment in Tanzania project run by Projects Abroad. I focus on how the project talks about women, how it pictures them, and who controls the initiative using theories from GTD 598 on gender development and technology and women's empowerment. As for project approach, this project examines representation rather than simply reporting on activities. I ask, what story does Project Abroad tell about Tanzanian women and their problems? How do its photos and texts position women as agents, victims, or something else? And how do these portrayals connect to wider debates about women's rights and development? So, now, how the project talks about women. On the website, volunteers are told they will help women reach their full potential and stand up for women's rights in Africa. Tanzanian women are described as vulnerable, undervalued, and underheard, trapped in a vicious cycle of poverty. They appear as single group waiting for outsiders to teach, encourage, and serve them. And well, very close to a black hole saving narrative. Now, Tanzanian context beyond culture. At the same time, Tanzanian women's struggles are very real. Data show uh, high female labor force participation, which goes up to 46%, alongside unequivalent ownership, as women only own 7%, early marriage at 38%, and gender based violence at 40%. Women also carry most unpaid care work, so the issues are deeply structural about law, land, wages, and time, not just about culture or lack of confidence or skills. This context matters for judging any empowerment project. While framing the problem, empowerment light. However, the project mostly frames the problem in individual cultural terms. On problem identification, the project highlights the root causes lack of skills and self-confidence among Tanzanian women. For solutions, interventions include trainings that emphasize quick fixes rather than sustainable change. There's also this individual focus where the project risks overlooking broader systemic issues such as gender based violence and economic inequalities. This fits Andrea Cornwall's critique of empowerment light, a technical, market focused approach that values women as tools for development while avoiding harder questions about patriarchy and economic inequality and state responsibility. Okay, now, volunteers and ones being centered in the narrative. Throughout the page, volunteers are addressed directly. You will plan activities, you will run training sessions, you will raise awareness about women's rights and gender equality. Very little prior experience is required, but volunteers are still framed as bringing essential knowledge and skills. Tanzanian women, meanwhile, are described as collectively as vulnerable and marginalized women who lack confidence and voice and who will attend the sessions to gain necessary skills to succeed in life. This language quietly establishes a hierarchy. Volunteers appear as experts and active changemakers. Local women appear primarily as dependent learners and the recipients of empowerment. So, who runs it? Who's in it? Project Project Abroad itself is a for-profit volunteer sending organization. The website markets personal growth, teaching experiences, and safaris for foreign volunteers. Local women's organizations are mentioned only vaguely and rarely named. From a governance feminism perspective, feminist and human rights language here helps legitimize a voluntarism product more than it transforms local struggles of power on the ground. And then now we look at what these portrayers do. These portrayers do a few things. Positively, they highlight gender inequalities and use the language of rights, which can attract attention and resources. But they also individualize problems, erase structural causes, and recenter the foreign volunteer. They equal the third world women and abject African women, tropes critiqued in our readings on human rights and coloniality. Now, toward more just representation. A more just representation will just start by centering Tanzanian women's organizations and leaders, making them visible and as the ones defining problems and the leading programs. It would link activities to land rights, violence, and unpaid care, not just micro business skills. And it would support collective organizing and advocacy rather than only individual in entrepreneurship, and the confidence building closer to Congo's liberating empowerment. Okay, conclusion. In conclusion, this project illustrates key tensions from GTD 598 between universal women's rights and local histories, between structural change and technical fixes, and between local agency and international branding. Reading its text and images through Abu Laghad, Cornwall, and Mossadegh helped us see both, its intentions and its serious limits and silences around power. Thank you very much for your time.